Book Talk Babes podcast, where we will be discussing different book-related topics and occasionally specific books. This episode may contain spoilers, so please check the episode description for a list of books that were spoiled. My name is Ashley, and today I'm joined by my two lovely friends, Elaine.
Hello.
And Liana.
Hello.
Y'all, I don't know why I have recording jitters tonight. Driving back from my friend's house, I was like, why am I so nervous right now?
I can always see it in your face.
I know.
I try not to look.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I was ready, and then I was like, quit freaking out in your head, Ashley. It's okay.
I saw your pause. I was like, okay, let me look away.
I have the script thing above y'all, so I don't butcher it.
So
So I'm not even looking at y'all, but I can I see out of my peripheral. I was like, don't fuck this up, Ashley. All right, welcome back, returning listeners. What do I say? Thank you, returning listeners. Welcome, new listeners.
You gotta keep this part in.
I probably will. I like to laugh at myself.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, welcome back, returning. No, did I say something? Whatever, it's fine. Thank you, returning listeners. Welcome back, or welcome new. Okay.
Welcome, new listeners.
I've butchered that too many times now.
It's okay. We're tired. Honestly, when are we not?
Yeah.
I mean, I was just at a 5-hour craft party.
Wow.
With other people.
I had pizza and was watching my ghost shows.
Oh,
nice.
That's what I like to do on Saturday nights.
And I have made you interrupt that schedule so we can record.
I know, it's so inconsiderate.
I'm
So
sorry.
I was at work.
So many plans.
Oh, I was going to say, I love ghost shows too. And I started, was it the Blackwell House thing? I don't know. It's a guy who does a documentary. It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh.
But only the first one is free.
Oh, that's annoying.
You have to rent the other ones. So I was sad. But he apparently likes to make zombie movies. And he's like, I want to do paranormal stuff now.
Okay.
Or make a documentary to see if ghosts exist. And he doesn't, he's not a non-believer. And he has a guy who is like, I'm going out of town. Do you want to stay at my house for a couple days? And he's like, yeah, sure.
Interesting.
And then things are happening. And then he does more research and finds out things about this house. And it's crazy.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I was watching, you remember BuzzFeed Unsolved?
Yes, I do.
Okay. With Shane and Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they have their own company now called Watcher, and they do ghost hunting. And they're Shane is a skeptic and Ryan believes in ghosts, and so
yeah,
they travel around, and Ryan's trying to convince Shane that ghosts are real, but then Ryan's always so scared every time they go. It's just impossible for him to do anything. But where did they? St. Ignatius in Washington. It was a hospital, then a nursing home. Just a bunch of really bad things happening. But Shane is hilarious because he's always riling the ghosts up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, come on, hit me. Or he'll tell them, Ryan's going to come in later. Why don't you, trip him a little or possess him?
Oh my
And
gosh.
Ryan's like, let's not do that.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm a believer or not, really. I'm sure there's something, but I've never encountered anything.
Yeah.
But so y'all remember, oh my God, what was that movie called? It was a movie that was all filmed as if this couple was living in this house, and they were trying to capture the ghost stuff that was happening. And there was these loud thumping noises that would happen. And then the ghost would come and do something or whatever. I went to a later night showing of it, and the whole time I was pretty much laughing because the one friend was freaking out the whole time. But like it would literally like if you watch the timestamp on the, home footage or whatever, it would
Yeah.
fast forward and then it would stop when something was about to happen. So I was like, okay, like this isn't going to scare me. But there was that loud thumping noise that would happen. Whatever. Movie ends, we go home. I laid down 5 minutes. I hear this loud, repetitive thumping noise.
Oh no.
I freaked out. The only one that thought that movie was funny and not scary, and the fucking ghost is gonna come and get me.
Oh,
It's punishing you for making fun of it.
It ended up being like my dog or something. I can't remember. But I remember laying there and then I hear the noise and I bolted up and I was like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me right now.
For all the ghost shows I watch, I really haven't had a ghost experience, which makes me a little sad.
Yeah.
I watch these shows and the people are either Shane, which is like, come on, or Ryan, and they're like, I'm scared. But like Project Fear, which I watch, they're always on YouTube. They're always so scared to go into these places. And to me, I'd be like, bring it on. I'm ready. Let's see what happens. Let's rile these ghosts up.
let's go on like a ghost tour or go stay at a haunted place.
I would love to.
Stay at a haunted place.
Some of the haunted places like do tours like inside their thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Driscoll does. That one's in Texas.
Do they? Okay.
Isn't that in Austin?
Yeah.
I think that's in Austin,
The
yeah.
Driscoll Hotel? Yeah.
There's also a really haunted place up here in DFW that I have to look at. There's one in Seguin that's supposed to be haunted. Can't remember where else. Oh, Georgetown. Georgetown has a really haunted like downtown building.
I've heard about that.
But like I've been in haunted places. Like I went all over Venice, which is supposed to be super haunted. Did not see one ghost. Super disappointed because like water is also supposed to be like a conduit for spirits.
Oh, okay.
And then like Venice, like you had the plague, you had wars, like there's this whole island called Poveglia that is closed off to the public. That's supposed to be like the most haunted island in Italy because it's where they buried a bunch of plague people. And then they had a tuberculosis outbreak, and so they would send them to this island, and then it was a prison. And creepy stuff has happened on this island. I'm like, I really want to go, but they like sealed it off to the public because like they don't want the public to be in danger. And I was like, don't be telling me that, and then I can't go to it.
Right. It's also, I mean, think of the money you could make doing tours.
Yeah. I spent a whole summer.
I wanted to go to Alcatraz so bad. I was so obsessed with Alcatraz.
Me too. Oh, and like I also visited the Tower of London. Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And I visited Dublin. Nothing.
Yeah, we went to a lot of old stuff in Dublin.
Like, come on.
Right. I would love to experience something, but a part of me also thinks I'd probably freak out.
I will probably be the person that's like, yeah, bring it on. And then something would happen. I'd be like, okay, I'm just kidding. You made your point. You called my bluff. Thank you. We're done now.
I'd be like, but then later on, I'd be like, that was so cool.
Oh, the next time my dog is just kind of vacantly looking off into nothing, I'm going to freak the fuck out. Like, they followed me home again.
When they start barking at a corner.
Yeah, no, my Lupin does that sometimes. Like he'll be laying on the bed, and then all of a sudden he'll get up and he'll start like growling at the door, and I'm like, "What do you see? What did you hear?" Like, if I find out later someone died while they built my house.
In movies, it's always on top of like some sacred native burial ground.
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
So no, we can get like little mics and stuff and get like cameras or something. And we could go on like a little stay somewhere haunted and do like a haunted tour.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I would love that.
You want to buy little ghost EMF detectors?
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
I
We're
really
gonna
wanna
show up for the tour. They'd be like, "What the
Do a
fuck is
recording.
happening?"
But see, like, I will not touch Ouija boards.
No.
I will
Oh,
not do
no.
it.
No. No.
me and my sister have played with one.
No.
I will not do it. We are not touching those. Well,
Yeah.
you can, but I won't.
Mm-mm. No.
Oh my gosh, do y'all remember that movie The Haunting with Owen Wilson
think
and
so.
Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Oh yeah.
Sounds
yeah.
familiar.
Mhm.
These 4 people are told they're going to a sleep study in like this giant castle, but they don't
Okay.
know if the castle's haunted.
Okay.
And like one by one, like haunted things start happening to them.
Yeah.
I remember like having a sleepover in middle school when you were watching this. And right at the part where like one of the big ghosts starts making their appearance, my dad started like stomping on the second floor.
Oh.
I got a good one.
Everyone screamed.
My dad. You can't watch scary movies with my dad, especially if he's watched them without you beforehand,
Uh-huh.
because he knows when to like grab your leg so you jump at the jump scares.
Oh God.
Can't remember what we were watching. My dad is like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. We're like, whatever, okay. But he's like, I've already seen it, so don't pause it. So we're like, okay. He goes to the bathroom. Our bathroom window was literally a tiny square. A tiny square. I still don't know to this day how he got out of it. He got out of the bathroom window, went around to the front of the house, came in through the front porch, and waited until there was a jump scare and banged on the window. And we're all thinking he is still in the bathroom. Oh my, the commitment that man has to scaring the shit out of me, my sister, and my mom is ridiculous. Why do our parents do this?
No.
Why do our fathers do this?
Yeah, what the hell? Is this a father thing? Steven's
must be
dad
a dad
traumatized
thing.
him too with a clown mask. That's why he doesn't like clowns.
No.
No, my dad used to hook up one of those ghost face masks. No, one of those masks that would like bleed, you know?
Yeah.
And whenever trick-or-treaters would come, he had it rigged up. So when he opened the door, the mask would pop up and
Oh,
all these
goodness.
kids would just like run away.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
I would have cried.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
my
then, he
gosh.
does his like spooky, like, whoa thing because he has like that voice.
I love that.
So he would like leave the window open and just start like, and
Oh
then
my
like
God.
open the door and that thing would pop up.
Wonder how many kids y'all made pee their pants.
It's fine. It's fine.
I love that we're talking about spooky stuff and it has absolutely nothing to do with our topic this week.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing the Halloween episode in February.
Yeah, it's fine. Instead of Christmas in July, it's Halloween in
We're
February.
just spooky all year round.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So yeah, today's topics are nonfiction books, and each one of us picked a specific genre or subgenre of books to talk about. Okay, who wants to go first?
Well, we should also say we don't have too many that we have read, but we do have things that we want to put as like our TBRs as well.
Yes. I have more TBR nonfiction books than I do ones that I've read recently.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of time, people, okay?
Yeah, I'm a little picky.
That too, yeah.
Right. So like what I've read. So like last year I read a few. I've read Matthew Perry's memoir, Tom Felton's, and Elliot Page. And what I love about those ones, I listen to the audiobooks for those ones, and I love when like they narrate their own audiobooks. So it's like they're telling me their story. And so I like that. I also read Jeanette McCurdy's book.
Yes.
Fun fact, I read the majority of that book at work.
Okay.
The one time I got to read at work, but it's only because I had to stay late to let the people carpet clean. And I had to stay up front to like make sure nobody walked in. And I literally just grabbed her book because it was on display and just started reading it.
I listened to that one, and that one's hard. That one was so rough to listen to.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I've actually read the book. I would like to listen to it.
Wasn't the title "I'm Glad My Mom's Dead"?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I'm glad my mom died.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Her mom was
something like that.
horrible, horrible human being.
Mhm.
Watch just like A Child Called It. I had to read that for
Oh,
a
yeah.
psychology class, and that one.
That was one of the ones I couldn't finish. I've tried reading it like multiple times, and I keep stopping
Yeah.
because I can't.
That one was hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then two of mine that are on my TBR are ones that you read. So like the Tom Felton Beyond the Wand,
Yes.
and then the Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry
Matthew
are
Perry,
two
yeah.
of the ones I want to read. Oh, I have it, and I skimmed through it a little bit, but I haven't read it like start to finish. But Madly Deeply, The Diaries of Alan Rickman.
Yes, that's on my TBR for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of like celebrity memoirs I
Yeah.
really want to read. Like the Britney Spears one.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, today at work we were actually talking about Jessica Simpson's one. I've heard
Oh.
like some really good
I
things
didn't know she
about.
did one.
Yeah, I've heard some really good things about hers. Like hers is actually really good, and we were talking about how like for good she's doing good. You know, like
Yeah.
she's
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
well.
So I read a lot of memoirs
Mm-hmm.
regarding
Mm-hmm.
nonfiction. Because I studied art history, there are some art books that I really would like to get to, but
Okay.
it's just difficult, especially now because I'm reading like for grad school and my brain can only hold so much. I read Trevor Noah's book, his memoir called Born a Crime.
It's on my TBR.
And ooh, God, like you want to talk about rough upbringing, but he seems to look back on it not wistfully, but like with some. There's just like this. First of all, like his mother is incredible. She's like considering all that she went through.
Mm-hmm.
She sounds like an outstanding woman, and it would be really cool to like talk to her in person and like get to know her story. But I mean, I'll never be able to talk to Trevor Noah's mother. Well, so the reason Trevor Noah is, so his mom was not even in a relationship with his dad. Like they weren't a partnership. One, because it was illegal in South Africa.
Oh, wow.
She just decided that she wanted to have a baby. And then she told his dad, who was like this guy from the Netherlands, like, I want a child, give me a child. And so they're like, okay. And then Trevor was born. And so he talks about his upbringing and the difficulty it was to exist in a time where he was not supposed to exist.
Yeah.
But his mom, at one point, she remarried a man of the same race, and he was very violent and abusive. And at one point, the fight got so bad that he shot her,
Holy
and
fuck.
she had a head wound. She had a bullet in her head, and she drove herself to the hospital.
Oh my god.
And he's so funny on the Daily Show.
But isn't it what is the thing that the funny people are the ones that have like survived the most trauma or something?
Yes, it's like
Or have
turning
dealt
his
with trauma.
into so that was like one of the memoirs that really stuck with me. It's been a few years since I read it, but I really like it. I read a lot of like memoirs of people who hike national parks or do like the Pacific Crest Trail or the Appalachian Trail. I read this one memoir called Only When I Step on It by Peter Conti. He's this man who was injured in a motorcycle accident, kind of lost the use of one of his legs. It was like irreparably damaged nerve wise, so it never like gained full strength, but he was determined to hike the Appalachian Trail to like instead of going to physical therapy, he's like, I'll just hike the Appalachian Trail.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it's called Only When I Step on It because people would ask him, does it hurt? And he would say, only when I step on it.
Oh, God.
And it kind of became like a running joke. He thinks like, I'll just do it and I'll do it by myself. And this man, I think when he hiked it, I want to say he was in his 50s. But yeah, and he had like never hiked before a day in his life. He trained like 3 weeks prior to leaving, just by walk around his neighborhood.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Was never considered an outdoorsman. Never camped, never hiked. It took me a while to read that one just because I want to be like, well, you're an idiot. But then I also like I get it. Like I haven't experienced anything like him, but I have dealt with like chronic pain, so I understand like the want to push through despite your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I couldn't fault him for that, but otherwise I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I went to Corpus Christi for an install a couple weeks ago, and I bought this book called Artists on Art: How They See, Think, and Create. And
Ooh, okay.
it's a small book. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to read that. It's like a lot of contemporary artists. And then this one's a big one. She's a thick lady.
Yeah.
We just had a show about Louise Nevelson,
Okay.
and she is so fabulous. This is how she looked every day. She was
Oh,
always
wow.
wearing like some kind of hat or a shawl, walking around with a joint out of her mouth, layers of necklaces, and she'd wear like 10 pairs of false eyelashes on,
Oh my god.
every day.
Good lord.
We showed some video of her in her studio because she did a lot of like wood and metal fabrications, and she has like one of those grinders that like emits sparks, and she has a cigarette out the side of her mouth.
Good lord.
Oh my goodness.
Like wearing no PPE, and she's just like talking out the side of her mouth with a cigarette, and there's like sparks flying, and she's just whatever. OSHA's not a thing here. So yeah, it's called Louise Nevelson, Light and Shadow, and
Okay.
it's a little memoir about her surrealism and her process and what she
Okay.
does. So she was a very eccentric lady, and I hope to be like her when I'm older.
But with like less fake eyelashes, I hope.
I don't know. We might do the eyelashes.
I mean, just wear one pair.
No, if I'm gonna be the weird eccentric aunt to my future nieces and nephews, we need to create a persona.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I want my future nieces and nephews to have like that nostalgic smell of like sweat, but like perfume. So that whenever they randomly smell it, they're like, "Oh, that was Thea."
I'm the aunt that like makes them buy books when they come over.
You guys want to go to a bookstore?
Yeah, we go to Barnes and Noble every time my oldest nephew comes over, and he always like asks if he can buy a Lego, and I'm like, a book.
I really want to read Stanley Tucci's memoir.
Ooh,
Yes,
that would be a
that
good
one too.
one.
Yes.
Except it's $15.
I really want to read The Betrayal of Anne Frank.
Yeah.
It's like Betrayal of Anne Frank, a cold case, something or
Uh-huh.
whatever. I think that would be really cool. I have it on my bookshelf. I also have Red Notice, which is like, I think it's about some crazy government corruption stuff in Russia.
Uh-huh.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a book I want to read about the Shenandoah murders.
Ooh, I also have Off with Her Head, which I talked about, I think, in a previous episode that I haven't finished, which is
that Anne Boleyn?
No, it's 3,000 years of demonizing women in power.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yes. You did mention it.
I mentioned it in one of the episodes. I can't remember which one. But yeah, I have that one and I started it and I haven't finished it yet.
There's a popular one that a lot of people get at work that sells really fast. Is Empire of the Summer Moon. I really want that one.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. It's like the rise and fall of the Comanches. It's like an American Indian tribe in
Okay,
American
okay.
history. Yeah.
I've also got Killers of the Flower Moon,
Yeah.
which I think we talked about that one.
One time we got that confused. I think someone was like Killers of the Flower Moon, and then
Understandably
I
so.
automatically thought Empire of the Summer Moon, and I was like, oh wait, no, you mean the other
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get into reading more art books because that's what I'm studying and that's what I work in.
Yeah.
Especially regarding contemporary art and like art dealing and
Yeah.
art business. But gosh, it's so dry.
Yeah, I feel like you're also gonna like oversaturate yourself with it, and then it'll become not fun.
Yeah, like the content is so dry.
Oh, I forgot another one I read last year was Queen Unseen, which
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it'd be considered. Maybe it's a memoir. I'm not really sure. I got it because I'm obsessed with Queen. I fucking love Queen.
Yes.
And that's what I thought it was mostly going to be about, which I mean, it kind of is, but it's all from the perspective and the experiences of one of the like stagehand guys or
Ooh.
whatever that was with them, like on a whole like tour. He was with them from the start. Like, yeah, it was really interesting. Like, he basically was Freddie Mercury's main guy that he did stuff for. So they became like really close and
That's cool.
stuff. It was really neat. And then I read Stiff a few years ago, which is The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers by Mary Roach. So it's basically all about the different things. Like if you donate your body to science, the different things that can happen to it or fields that it'll go into. So
It's cool.
it was fascinating. It was interesting.
Mm-hmm. It was funny. I was talking to my mom the other day. I was like, Mom, I want to be cremated. Make sure you put my body with salt and cremate me. And she's like, what? And I was like, I've been watching Supernatural. I don't want to become a ghost.
Excellent. Oh, okay. I'm just saying, if there's an option when I die, and because, like, I mean, I'm not religious, so I don't know if I believe that there's a heaven or anything like that. I mean, cool if there is. But if I die and I get put in this waiting room and then I talk to somebody and they're like, would you like to go back as a ghost and fuck with people? Yes. Sign
Hell
me
yes.
up.
Hell yes.
If you give me free reign, I got a list of people that if they're still alive, I would
Yeah.
love to fuck with.
Yeah.
If not, you can give me a location. I'm good.
I have a particular list of exes.
Yeah, exactly.
that,
Exactly.
that do not need to live happily, and I will contribute to that.
Yeah, I've got past coworkers I would love nothing more than to torment in my
Like,
afterlife.
I have lived my life. Like, I can spend the rest of my spiritual days being a petty ghost and having all kinds of fun.
I mean, think about it. Think how cool that would be. Like, what if you got like I got assignments? Like, so you have like a six month or a year assignment, and you're like, you're gonna go to this hotel, and you're gonna scare people. And then after
Oh my
that, you
gosh.
get to go to like another place and scare people. Another one, like that'd be so cool. Are you kidding me? If that is my
Turn
afterlife,
this into a rom-com.
yeah, The Dead Romantics.
Yeah, I was gonna say The Dead Romantics.
It is like the one person who's immune to her scary powers.
Yeah.
Then they decide to solve mysteries.
Yeah, no, I would
Yeah.
love that as an afterlife. Are you kidding me? That'd be so cool.
Oh yeah, just like get into all kinds of shit. I would love it.
Heck
That would be y'all's unfinished business before
Yes,
you
yes.
guys officially.
Yeah, I'm done being the bigger person.
Yeah, no, like, you'd get in this, fantasy thing that I have just come up with. Like, you get the option. Like, if you don't want to haunt people, you can like go on to the afterlife and be at peace and do whatever. But if I have the
Ooh.
option to scare people,
Alternatively,
doing it.
you could also just choose to be like, hey, can I just go like live on a mountaintop and enjoy myself?
Yeah, like a
Then you
ghost,
would, like,
ghost
never-
resort.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to eat, you don't have to drink, you don't get cold, so you're succumbing to the elements.
Mhm.
You're just enjoying your life or afterlife.
You can haunt a library
That'd
and
be
read books
cool.
at night, and
That would be cool.
you'll finally eventually finish reading everything.
Yes.
Like, go to the Bodleian in Oxford. That would be incredible.
At one point, I was reading a lot of YouTuber memoirs.
Ooh, if Bailey Sarian comes out with one, I want to read it.
Who?
Bailey Sarian. She does murder mystery and makeup.
Oh,
Mondays.
yes.
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
she sounds familiar. Yeah, I love her.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
She's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't put on here. I really want to read Special Agent: My Life on the Front Lines as a Woman in the FBI by Candace DeLong. I really want to read that one.
I have like the YouTuber ones I've read. I think Mamrie Hart, You Deserve a Drink was like one of the most hilarious things I've read.
I remember her.
Yeah. I read her like book like on the bus when I was commuting to Texas State.
Okay.
And I would like laugh out loud on the bus. It was so funny. Oh, I also don't remember how I got this. It must have been free or something, but I have a Kindle book. It was like one of the very few first like books I got. And it's about a restaurant in New York that was called Elaine's.
Oh.
Yeah.
How special.
Right? I need to read that. I've had that for years. Oh, there's one that I've seen at work that was called it's by Julissa Arce. You Sound Like a White Girl. The Case for Rejecting Assimilation. I guess you could tell by the title what it's gonna be about. But it's like I've read like the very beginning of it, and it's really like it talks about like her struggle of being an immigrant and trying to like fit in, trying to be American, and how like even though she tries so hard, like she still wouldn't be accepted, and then goes back to Mexico, and they're like, oh, you're not Mexican enough now.
Yeah,
Even though she's from Mexico.
I can't. That's so. I can't imagine. That's horrible.
You know how people are.
I know.
It's crazy.
Okay. Are we good with nonfiction? Is there anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. So we're done with nonfiction. Moving on to our genres that we picked. I'm gonna discuss romantasy and fantasy books. Elaine,
I picked workplace romance.
Okay. And Liana?
And then I picked some fiction, Chicano, Chicana literature.
Okay. Who wants to go first with their first book?
Well, so I guess why did we choose to talk about these subgenres?
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
Is there anything in particular that you guys find that you like about these subgenres that you chose?
So for me, I mean, I would say I read primarily fantasy. So I put some of my favorite fantasy ones. And then romantasy in particular combines like two of my favorite genres, romance and fantasy. So I don't know. Best of both worlds.
And
for
what
me.
particular kind of fantasy? Like high fantasy, sci-fi? What are we looking at?
This particular list, because I consider sci-fi like a separate thing, so I just didn't put any sci-fi books down. Most of these I would say are more like high fantasy, or they have some sort of like magic system, or it's a completely made up like world. It's not Earth. And then Elaine, you picked the workplace romance.
Yeah. I don't know, there is just it's just something that I've been like noticing that I've been drawn to lately.
Mm-hmm.
I've been reading a lot of like those workplace romance stuff, so I was like, well, I actually quite have a list of those stuff compared to like other subgenres, so I figured it'd be good. Liana?
I guess I could answer my own question.
Yes, you have to answer your own question.
I don't know if our listeners can tell, but I do identify as Chicana.
I mean, give some of your family history.
The border crossed us.
Well, I would also like to say your grandma is the most adorable old British lady I have ever met. And she tried to undress me that one Easter.
Oh yeah.
For the listeners.
She was trying to look at your tattoo.
Yeah, I was like, it was consensual. She was trying to see the tattoo I had that was on my back. It's just funnier to say she tried to undress me.
I don't know how it's possible, but she got even tinier.
Right? Yeah, my grandma and I used to be the same height, and then all of a sudden she's like smaller, and I'm like, how did you get so? I know I didn't grow.
Yes.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Well, she just celebrated her 91st birthday.
Oh my god.
Yay!
That's
so good.
awesome.
I know.
So
I
cool.
know. I sent her some cookies,
Oh.
and my dad FaceTimed me when she got them, and he said that she hadn't even gotten them in the door yet and already had them open. And when we FaceTimed, she had chocolate all over her face.
A woman after my own heart.
Continues to love treats.
Yes.
Yes. It's the only way to live.
But yeah, so I try to read Latino fiction because
Mhm.
I like to read about stories that are similar to my own, and then just learn about what other people have gone through,
Yes.
and then just learning more about the culture that I come from. And
Mhm.
because even though we've all grown up Latino, like we still have different experiences and
Yes.
different lives, and it's just nice. And I want to support mi gente.
Yeah.
I want to support these authors, and a lot of them are independent authors, and I think it's important to support independent authors as well who don't have a publishing house to back them up. So
Mhm.
I like how you had this really like beautiful explanation as to why you picked that genre. I just like elves. It's like
I
magic.
love elves too. Don't worry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just love that.
But I thought I'd mix it up.
No, that's great. That's great. You could have picked romance.
I am all
stuff
about
in
the
that.
elves. I love Lord of the Rings.
Okay, my first one is going to be a romantasy called Rhapsodic by Laura Thalassa. I should have done more homework because it's been a little while since I read it. But basically,
I was pulling up the book summary as we were talking.
so it's called the Bargainer series because the like main male character is and this is one of those ones where it takes place on Earth and kind of like a different realm as well. So like he's from a different dimension, world, realm. I don't know how you'd describe it. I can't remember. I think they're considered like fae kind of. Please forgive me, anyone that's read this recently, and I totally butcher this. But yeah, so he's called the Bargainer, and basically people will make like bargains with him, and then at some point he comes back to you, and he'll take his payment or whatever. You don't know when he'll come
Like
back.
Rumpelstiltskin?
Kind of, yeah. This girl ends up she's a girl at the beginning of the book or whatever, or a teenager. She's like 17 or something, 18, and she ends up finding his card in a drawer or whatever at her house, and she needs him to help with a bad situation that's happened. And so she calls him or whatever, and then poof, he just shows up like out of nowhere because he's magical. And so it takes care of her problem, whatever. She gets a bead, and then keeps tabs on her and like makes sure she's okay and whatever. But she ends up like with an arm, a giant like wrapped around multiple times bracelet full of beads of basically like favors she's gonna owe him and whatnot. It's so good. It's so good. But he's if I remember correctly, he is also a controller of shadows.
Shadow
A
daddy.
shadow manipulator.
Shadow Daddy.
Shadow Daddy. Oh, my husband's so funny. He was like, "What's a shadow daddy, and why'd you get so excited about that?" I'm like, "Well,
See, if if your GarageBand skills ever improve, I need you to do like a little sound like Shadow Daddy whenever we
oh, that would be so fun. I'm gonna have to work on that. That'd be funny." But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that one because I feel like if I say any more details, it's gonna like totally give everything of that book away.
Yeah.
But it's a like trilogy and a novella. It's really good. I liked it.
So I have 4 that I want to talk
Okay.
about. They're not very recent, but they were made in the last decade.
Okay.
So one of my favorite authors is Reina Grande. I read her memoir first. She was an immigrant from Mexico, who is a creative writing teacher in California.
Okay.
So she wrote this book called Across 100 Mountains, and this book I finished all in one night, and I cried at the end.
Aw.
No, because it was so good, and the story, like, I think I started it at like 10 o'clock at night, and I finished at 3 in the morning. And I mean, the next day I
That's a
felt
good
so
book.
hungover. But I did not stop the entire time that I opened this book, because like you open it like before you read before bed, and you're like, well, I'll just get to sleep. But I could not stop reading this book. So it's about this character named Juana who leaves in search of her father, who left them and went to live in the United States. And so Juana meets Adelina, who left her family in California to follow her lover to Mexico. And they meet in a Tijuana jail.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not how I want to meet my best friend, but okay.
No. And the book is kind of told in flashbacks. Like we switch between like present day and like from when they're both growing up to when they finally meet in the jail, and then the stuff that happens after it. I think I cried not because it's sad, but because it was so moving.
Okay.
Mhm.
And like this book, I don't want to say it haunts me, but like this book like stuck with me.
Yeah.
Well, one of the first ones I want to mention is more of like an author
Okay.
and like a little series. It's like a 3-book series. They're all standalones. Well, I guess they're within the same like universe, so you could like read them individually.
Okay.
But the author is Kate Pryor, and it's The Claws and Cubicles. So it's a mixture of workplace romance and monster romance.
Awesome.
Of course.
Of course.
I forgot to mention that if we mentioned Railed by the Krampus one more time, my friend in Germany said she would read it. So
Rolled by the Krampus.
Railed by the
I might leave this in there just for her.
Read it. Okay.
Okay, sorry. Claws and cubicles. Claws and cubicles.
Yes, Claws and Cubicles. The first one's called Love Laugh Lich, which is about a lich monster, and he's like the boss of this workplace.
Oh.
And it's like the boss and like the secretary like romance.
Okay.
The second one is the orc from The Office, and it's like the secretary from the first one's like friend, and she accidentally kind of gets, what is it called? I guess imprinted by
Oh.
an orc.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-oh.
And so it's like, and then they have to kind of go through, human resources kind of thing and be like,
That is
it's so cute.
So cute.
And he's such like a gentle giant in this one. It's so cute. I think that one's my favorite one.
Okay.
And then the third one is Gargoyle from General Management. And so this one is about the girl who does the case for the orc.
Okay.
And how she meets the apparently a gargoyle comes to be part of like her team.
Okay.
And I think she's also a siren
Ooh.
that she tries to
Ooh.
hide, and things are happening, and the gargoyle offers to help.
Okay. Okay.
I love it.
I love it.
Yes.
They're so cute. I love them.
Just like the most mundane jobs.
Makes them interesting if it's monsters.
Yes,
I know.
it's really interesting. I love it.
I can't imagine a gargoyle dressing up to go sit at a cubicle.
Right? Yeah. Well, he dresses in like suits too, and she talks about that, and I'm just like, oh, that's so crazy.
That'd be so cute. A little gargoyle or a gargoyle in a suit. I also just keep thinking of that like 1990s cartoon.
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
gargoyles. Yeah.
I'd be
yes.
okay seeing one of them in a suit.
That
Right.
did stuff to me.
Okay, y'all, I just read The Last Ronin recently, which is Ninja Turtles.
Mhm.
And it's really like it's sad. But like the whole time I looked at Steve and I was like, why is this overly muscular fucking depiction of a goddamn turtle making me feel weird things? Okay? Ugh.
What is wrong with us? No, what is right?
Right?
What
Yeah.
is right?
Yes.
I was just like, he goes, do I need to get a turtle costume? I'm like, no.
No. You know what? I blame Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
Ah,
That was my gateway drug. And
Mhm.
since then, I've just had a thing for was anthropomorphic humanoid creatures who can
Yeah. Oh, are you
do
kidding me?
stuff to human.
What's it called? This doesn't have any humans in it, but like Robin Hood with the foxes. One of my favorite movies of
Robin
all
Hood.
time. Okay.
Yes.
No, hold on.
I'd date a fox.
Kovu.
Which one? Oh, Kovu.
It's like, why he kind of
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the bad boy, remember?
You know, Disney had no business making animated animals that attractive.
I agree. I agree.
Yes.
Now, okay, I have a question about the claws and cubicles.
Mhm.
Is it like human and monster, or is it like monster?
Yes.
Okay, human
It's
and
like human
monsters.
and monster.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, at least the first two, the third one, like I said,
Oh,
she's
if
like
she's
a
a siren. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting. That sounds fun.
And they're really short reads too, so it's
Okay.
really cool. They're really fast reads. You could read it like a day.
Ooh, maybe I'll get one of those to like cleanse my palate from the duology epic that I just finished.
Speaking of short books, Steven, he made it out like he wants to eventually like do an episode with us. And I told him,
Yay.
like, we could read a book or whatever if you want, blah, blah, blah. I suggested Railed by the Easter Bunny because it's 66 pages. And then that gives him time to, get up the courage to, like, be on a recording if he wants. So we'll see. We'll see.
Mhm.
April, it's like, yeah, April book for Easter.
And also just like talk about the books that he likes.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if we can get him on for an episode. My friend Aaron also expressed that he would like to get on for an episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Maybe after we hit our 10.
No boys allowed.
right, yeah, no boys allowed until after March since that's Women History Month.
Yeah. We can't in good conscience have any men on the show.
No, not yet.
All right, what else you got, Ashley?
I've got. I'll talk about Legendborn next, which is by Tracy.
Oh, that's on my TBR.
Read it. It's by Tracy Dion. I actually am friends with. This is how I found out about these books. So one of my friends that I worked with is friends with her. Like crashed on her couch in college for a bit because it was her.
That's cool.
Her friend's roommate was Tracy Dion, so like they all know each other, and it is so freaking good. So it takes place in North Carolina. Our main character is a young Black woman. I say young Black woman. She's kind of a girl. She's like, I think 16 or 17. And her and her best friend, Alice, sign up for this like pre-college program at her mom's alma mater, and she goes, and like their first night there, they go to this party. Some weird magical shit goes down, and like nobody else can see what's happening except for her. People all leave, and then there's these two other people that are also like taking care of the situation, and she sees the whole thing. And the one kid has like these magical powers, and he tries to, like, I don't know, put her in a trance or in like a "you didn't see this" kind of thing. You need to leave. But of course it doesn't work on her. Like she saw it all. She remembers it all. And she ends up becoming part of this like secret club on campus to try to figure out what happened to her mom. But it's all King Arthur and like the Knights of the Round Table fighting these demons. So they're all like descendants, except for her. All the people that she meets in this club, they're all like descendants of King Arthur and his Round Table of Knights. So good. I can't tell y'all anymore without like ruining
No, I've heard
ruining
great
stuff.
things
Yes,
about
it
it.
is nothing but great things.
It is amazing. I hate that we're having to wait so long for book 3, but like I know it's gonna be worth it. But it's a lot of like characters of color, non-binary characters. There's some queer characters in there as well. Like it's all done, like the representation is so good, and it touches on like obviously like racism. If y'all want, like we could do that as a one of our books for a month or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be down.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll plan that for some time.
I really want to read that one.
So the next one I have is by the author Luis Alberto Urrea. It's called The Hummingbird's Daughter. This one, it's kind of based on his own family lore. It's supposed to be about his great aunt or great great aunt, something like that. It's about a young woman's sudden sainthood in 19th century Mexico. In the late 1800s, there's a civil war going on in Mexico, and there's this girl. She's not a girl, but she's a teenager. She's 16. Her name is Teresita, and
That's my middle name.
yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, I'm gonna read it.
Fun fact: Elaine and I have like pretty much the same middle name. So yeah, her name is Teresita. She is the illegitimate daughter of the rancher Don Tomas, but everyone loves her. So, I mean, that's not a spoiler because this is said in the little book summary. Like, she dies, but she resurrects. And so, after she comes back, she has all these healing powers. So it kind of takes you on like this epic journey of her life leading up to her death and then everything that happens after it. And it's so good. The writing is so good. You really get a sense of what it was like in 19th century Mexico, but specifically the region around Texas and Arizona. So I highly recommend. It's a great book.
The next one I'll talk about, because I just read book 2. It is a manga that I'm still reading, but so far I'm really loving it. And the title is great. It's called Cherry Magic. 30 years of virginity can make you a wizard. By Yu Toyota. And so basically it's, he turned 30 and he's a virgin, and all of a sudden he can start reading minds if he like touches a person. So if he touches them, or he's like, when he's touching them, he could like read their minds. And so he
Oh, I would not want that power.
ends up finding out that like one of his coworkers has a crush on him, and he's just like, what, like he likes me.
Aww.
And it's like super cute. And like the second one, I think it's just even more like, here's him, he's just like, oh, I think I went too far with him, so I'll keep my distance. He wants to get to know me more.
Aww.
And it's like so cute with his like, he's just like, Because in the first one, he talks about, he's like, oh, his bed hair is so cute. And he's like, who is he talking about?
Have these like such adorable, wholesome like romance.
Yeah, it's it's so
That's
cute.
adorable.
I'm excited to continue the series. I've only read the first two, but I already like am in love with it.
My next one is going to be The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang.
Yeah.
So it is like the little thing just starts an epic historical military fantasy inspired by the bloody history of China's 12th century and filled with treachery and magic. So our main character is Ren. Basically, all of the I can't remember if they're at a certain age they have to sit for this test. Like every kid in the country sits for this test. And if you score I don't know if you I think you have to score the highest. You are eligible to or you're invited to go to their like school, like their military school. And so she lives in like a rural like village. I'm pretty sure she was adopted by
Yes.
yeah, okay, thank you. I was like, can't remember now. She was adopted by like her aunt and uncle and their poppy seed sellers or whatever, opiate drug sellers basically. And they treat her like shit. Absolute shit.
Yeah.
But she scores the highest on this test and gets to go to this like military academy or whatever. But it's so good. It's so sad. R.F. Kuang does not at any point sugarcoat the nastiness of war, especially during that time. It is absolutely fantastic, but it can be a little rough at times, but there's magic and
I like to say it gives off very Avatar the Last Airbender feels.
Okay.
Like vibes with like the spirit world.
Yes. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, my favorite one of that series is actually the second book, which is the Dragon Republic. But it's a trilogy. It's so good. So good. It has so many good like historical parallels, which was the point. I did a lot more looking up on the history of that time period of China on the side to better understand some of the stuff that was going on. Because I did it as a buddy read with my friend Hema, and she is ridiculously smart. So she was constantly like, "Oh, well, this, and that," and I was like, "Well, that makes sense." I completely neglected to remember any of that for my world history class. Not that I got a really good in-depth anything in world history on any of that. But
world history is just learning about Europe.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So it was great getting to read it with her because she's, like I said, ridiculously smart and knowledgeable about all these things.
Okay, so this one I've mentioned before to both of you. This is kind of my Butcher and Blackbird.
I fucking love that you said that. I've made it a goal to try to say the name Butcher and Blackbird at least once every episode. Thanks for throwing that in there.
So it's Gods of Jade and Shadow.
Okay. I remember you talking about this. Yes.
By Silvia Moreno Garcia. She's the one who did Mexican Gothic. I love this book. This one does have a bit of romance, but it doesn't get smutty, which for this instance I'm okay with. So yeah, she puts a lot of sci-fi and supernatural elements into her books. This one, Gods of Jade and Shadow, it kind of makes me think of like Cinderella, if Cinderella went on a road trip with the prince. Maybe. I mean, if the prince wasn't trying to kill her. But like, so it's based on Mayan folklore, and it's set around the Jazz Age in Mexico, so probably around the 20s or 30s, I think. and it's about this girl and her. She's not a girl; she's a young woman. Her name is Cassiopeia. Her mother married a poor man, and then the poor man died, and so they moved back into her grandfather's house, and her grandfather's really rich, but she's basically the maid. She's the cleaning lady in her grandfather's house.
Okay.
And they don't treat her or her mother as members of the family, so they're not that great to her. And of course, like whenever you're in this type of situation, you dream of a life beyond
Yeah.
this this situation. And she stumbles upon a wooden box in her grandfather's room, and when she opens it, she cuts her finger on a skeleton that she found in the box, and she frees the spirit of the Mayan god of death. He's like, "You, human, you will assist me in recovering my throne from my treacherous brother, and if you fail, it will be your demise." And she's like, "Oh shit." But what's she gonna say? No.
Right.
So she's like, "Well, I wanted to get out of this small dusty town, but not exactly like this."
That's not what I had in mind.
Yeah.
He's not Voldemort, but it made me think of Voldemort because his brother stashed away bits and pieces of his body around Mexico, and he has to find these pieces and restore them to his physical self before he can ascend his throne again. So they have to find his Horcruxes. So yeah, they go on like this cross-country road trip to find his missing pieces. But of course, along the way, he becomes a little bit more human, and in becoming a little bit more human, he starts to like fall in love with her. Because she doesn't take his shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, "You can't talk to me that way." She's finally able to explore and go on this adventure, and she meets demons and spirits and like all these monsters and things she didn't know were there in Mexico, but she takes it all in stride, and she actually ends up having like a really good time despite her potential demise. But no, it's really really good. I think, and I may be misremembering, I think at one point she meets Frida Kahlo.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was around that time when Revolution was happening. It's so good. So good. And I will keep recommending it every time you guys post on your bookstagrams and be like, "What should I read next?" I'm like, Gods of Jade and
That's
Shadow.
yeah. I've had that on my TBR since you told me about it that one time.
Yeah. Next one I'll do is another manga. This one has 6 volumes total, so it is a complete manga. Hopefully I don't butcher it. Well, Takoi, Love is Hard for an Otaku.
Okay.
So it's like she is the word otaku, which I think is basically like she loves like, manga, anime, especially BL, especially boy love manga and stuff. And she's always been so I guess sort of like made fun of as a younger kid for liking that stuff. So as an adult she tries to hide it.
Okay.
And so in this workplace she ends up getting reunited with a guy who she grew up with. He knows like who she is, like how she is, because they grew up together, and so she can be sort of like free around him. And he's also a big like video game nerd, and he doesn't care that people know that he's a video game nerd. Like during his lunch break he'll play video games, and doesn't care that people see him. And they do like a fake dating kind of thing, because she talks about how she keeps having failed relationships because they find out she's in a taco and they don't like it and they break up. And so he's just like, well, like I don't care. So
Aw.
and then, so it's really cute. They're really cute together, and they do have like there's also they have 2 other friends. One of the friends that she has, she is a cosplayer, so she has someone else that she can like talk to as well, and they're cute. There's also an anime of it, and I've seen pieces of it, and I'm just like, oh, it's so cute. I need to watch it. I've already read it. It's a very wholesome, like, workplace romance / friends to
Yeah.
lovers. Yeah.
Next, I'll talk about The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Okay, it spans a very, very large length of time. Small rural village out middle of nowhere, horse-drawn carriages kind of thing. Not even carriages, little wagon thing, whatever. Her dad has decided to marry her off. She doesn't want to get married. And there's like this old lady in the village also that like warns her, be careful. I forget the term, the words that she used, but basically be careful like who you pray to at night because it might not be who you think it is. So she runs away from the altar into like the woods or whatever near her house, starts praying. I guess the equivalent of like the devil shows up and basically makes a deal with her that like she won't have to marry this man and she can live life for as long as she wants. She doesn't set specific things for this bargain. What happens is he grants her wish. After that, no one can remember her. She's basically immortal now, and going forward through life, anybody that she encounters won't remember her the next day. Every year, on the anniversary of this deal being made, he shows up and he's like, "You done yet? You ready to like be mine?" And she's like, "No, I'm not. I'm not done living my life yet." And this goes on all the way up to like present day. So she lives for a long, long, long time. She ends up meeting a guy that remembers her. It is so beautiful. It's so sad. The writing is so beautifully done. I tabbed the shit out of this
Mhm.
book because I was like, oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I got my sister to listen to the audiobook and she absolutely loved it too.
Okay, so my final book, and I've also told y'all about this book. It's called Juliet Takes a Breath
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
by Gabby Rivera. And if that name sounds familiar to any comic book people, she wrote America Chavez comic, the next Captain America in the Marvel Universe.
Okay.
So it's about, I don't know, she's a young woman. I think she's college
Okay.
age. Yeah, she's college age. Her name is Juliet Milagros Palante. She lives in the Bronx and she goes to Portland, Oregon, and she wants to be a writer and also just came out to her family before she left on this Portland, Oregon trip.
I mean, that might be the way
So,
to do it. Get away from the drama if there is any.
yeah. So she goes to intern for her favorite author, her favorite book. And the author, she's like a feminist, women's liberties, super gay, but she's also like really white. And Juliet is very Puerto Rican, and she goes to Portland, Oregon, where she's never seen so many white people in her life, and it's kind of it's like a coming of age, but then it's also talking about struggles being one of the only brown people in a predominantly white
Mm.
area. It's over the summer, and so she's trying to figure out if this is what she wants to do and becoming a writer. And she's also discovering her sexuality. And then she's also worrying about going back home because she was just like, I'm gay, and then left. Um, so it's just her like navigating this one summer in Portland, Oregon. It's really, really good. The author is queer and they write queer stories. And I think this one was also kind of semi autobiographical. I highly recommend it.
My next one will be, it's number 2 of the Stemmis novellas of Ali Hazelwood,
Okay.
called Stuck With You.
Oh,
Yeah, Stuck
yeah.
With You. I really like that one. They met each other, they talked, they had like a, I guess like a one night stand, and then she thought he did something and it was like she didn't like him, and then they end up getting stuck in an elevator together.
Wait, when you say stuck, you mean like stuck? Like it stops working?
Yeah, like, yeah, it stops working, and so they're like, she's like, oh my gosh, now I'm like stuck with him. But it's like funny because she keeps remembering like back when they were together, and so it's like, oh, are we gonna get details of what happened? And then it's like, stop. So I'm like, damn
Oh.
it. she like has flashbacks.
It's like that TikTok sound. Show me your wiener.
Yes.
Working you up and then not finishing.
Yeah, I don't fully remember, but I know that she talks about her plan for like for something, and she ends up losing the client, and the client ends up going towards his company instead. And so she thinks, and like their plan ended up being almost the exact same as like what she had planned out. And so she thinks that he like took her ideas.
Oh,
And so she's like pissed.
I would be too.
Yeah, and then she's upset with him. She doesn't like him, and then they get stuck in an elevator together.
Are they stuck for the whole book?
I don't think so. I think it's for like the majority of it, and then I end up. Like I said, it's been a while since I've listened to this, but
Yeah.
but yeah, and it's like a very short read. Like I think it was only like a 3-hour audiobook.
Okay.
But I thought that was really cool. After I've only read this one and another one of the novellas, and I liked this one better.
Okay. Our what this week, I will go first. I'm probably going to say this author's name wrong. So, Elaine, you'll have to correct me. I have officially started All the Lies, which is number 4 in the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. And I think tonight, when I get off of here, I'm officially going to start Invoking the Blood by, is it Callista
Yay!
Neath?
I think it's Callista.
Is it Neath or Knife?
I think it's I would say Ninth.
I don't know. I honestly don't pay attention to authors' names.
Well, the only reason I'm asking is because I know you follow her on Instagram, and I don't think I follow her on Instagram yet. I was trying not to completely butcher it.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I'm going to start Invoking the Blood.
Oh, it's exciting.
Yes.
Yes.
And then if y'all want, I told Elaine this, we could do that as one of the months or something since we'll all 3 have read it.
Okay.
Unless there's some leprechaun romance.
If there is a Railed by the
No.
Leprechaun,
No.
As far as I know, there's a scent.
No.
I'm gonna.
I'm already reading Easter Bunny.
Okay, I'll research this. Maybe I'll do it as like a presentation, a mini presentation on one of the March episodes for y'all. There's got to be some leprechaun smut.
Bring us a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
If there's a freaking stuffed by the were turkey, someone's done a leprechaun one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'm reading. I don't have anything I'm really watching or listening to at the moment. I have absolutely no plans because I'm tired.
So I just finished Haven by S.E. Wendell. Wendell or Wendell? S.E. Wendell. It's so good. It's so good. I immediately gave it 5 stars after I finished it. But hopefully I get to read A Ballad of Love and Glory by Rihanna Grande next. But depending on my homework load, we'll see. I've been listening to a podcast called Locations Unknown. It's about people that go missing in national parks. And for some reason, learning about the terror of national parks makes me want to visit them. But yeah, so I'm listening to that. And then I'm not really watching anything. I'm trying to find something to watch right now. Before we recorded this, I was watching the strongman competition at the Rogue Invitational.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
My what this week? The Blackwell Ghost is what I was watching. I'm still reading Sorrowland by River Solomon. It is really good. I'm hopefully will finish it soon for my book club.
Okay, so next episode will be our book episode, which we will be discussing Portrait of a Scotsman by Evie Dunmore. It's book 3 in the League of Extraordinary Women series. They're all standalone, so you don't have to read them in order. There's just like crossover characters. So if anyone's interested in reading that before our next episode, so they won't be spoiled by any of our discussion, feel free to do that. I feel like these book episodes, maybe in the future, not anytime soon because I'm tired, but I do have a Discord server made for our podcast. So we could do like little book clubs each month and have like anybody that's listening that wants to read it with us. We can all discuss it in Discord or whatever and then have the book discussion on the podcast. Righty. Thank you, listener, for joining us. Please rate and review our podcast and follow us on our socials listed in the description. Please email us topics, questions, book recommendations. Say something nice. Have a lovely day and week. And until next time, bye.
Bye.